Today, I am here to talk to you about pros and cons of living in Northport, Florida. So this is part of our pros and cons series. We've done videos on a number of different cities around Southwest Florida. Today we're talking about Northport. So I'm going to give you a rundown of some information about the city itself, and then we're going to get into the pros and cons. What are the good and the bad? Why you may or may not want to pick Northport as your new home here in Southwest Florida. So Northport is actually a city. I know a lot of the areas that we talk about are unincorporated areas and things like that, but Northport is a city, so you do get the, it goes into kind of the pros and the cons, but you do get the benefits of all the city services that come along with it, but you do pay city taxes as well. It is a part of Sarasota County, and was originally, many of you may not know, but was originally named and incorporated as Northport Charlotte. So that's where the Northport comes from. In the 70s, they dropped Charlotte in order to help differentiate themselves as a city even further. And so now it is just Northport. Population is around 85,000 right now, which makes it a fairly large city in terms of population within Southwest Florida. But what most people don't know as well is Northport actually is one of the largest cities in all of Florida by landmass, not by population. There is a huge area that they have incorporated within the city limits. So it's a very big city in terms of landmass. Some of the things that we have in Northport, it is the now the home of the spring training stadium for the Atlanta Braves. Beautiful new stadium, awesome. They built just in the last couple of years. It is technically in Northport, although it is very, very near the Venice city line. And so sometimes Venice likes to claim it as well. Only city in the state of Florida, and one of the only cities in the entire country that houses an entire state forest within its city limits. So within the city limits is the 𝑚IACA State Forest, which is over 8,000 acres. It is one of the fastest growing cities in all of Florida over the last 25 years or so. Population has grown almost 250% in the last 25 years. And tons of recreational opportunities. One of the things that Northport has really become famous for is their focus on continuing to build and maintain and add on to what we refer to as third spaces, public places that you can go to for free to spend your time outside of your home or work or school if you're a kid, for the kids. So free places that you can go and hang out, relax, get fresh air, get some exercise out in the world, see people, meet with people, hang out, and do fun things that don't cost any money. So tons of parks in Northport, hiking trails, all kinds of great stuff. There are horse trails, mountain bike trails, plenty of bird watching opportunities, cool things to do all throughout the city. So some of the favorites we talked about already, Cool Today Park, which is the Brave spring training facility. And if you are in the area now, please go catch a game. Not to mention the Braves are fantastic, but just great, a lot of fun, and not super expensive, cool thing to go do. War Mineral Springs Park is a park that is run by the city of Northport. It has been, it's actually a historic landmark, has been super, super popular, especially among international tourists for years and years and years. It's amazing how many international people from other countries, especially Eastern European countries, are very, very familiar with Northport specifically because of War Mineral Springs. It was thought to potentially be the fountain of youth because of the extremely high mineral content in the water. It is said to have healing properties. I'm not a doctor. I cannot verify that information, but that's what they say. But cool park. It did take some pretty significant damage though, the buildings during the last couple of hurricanes. So the buildings are all closed right now. They're in the process of renovating the park and rebuilding all of that stuff. But there are some temporary facilities in place, and so it is open to the public. Water temperature is consistent at 85 degrees all year round. Keep in mind, like I said though, high mineral content, so it does have a bit of a smell to it. Sulfur is part of that mineral content, so it smells a bit like rotten eggs. But it's supposed to be good for your skin, so go check it out. And so Northport also has a performing arts center, second largest theater in Sarasota County, has a capacity of over 1,000 seats, and hosts all kinds of musical performances, off-Broadway shows, and symphony concerts. The Northport Arts Center, which is set up and hosts regular classes for people of all ages, taught by experienced artists, so all different types of art, so if you want to go check that out. Something cool that a lot of people aren't familiar with, the 𝑚IACA State Forest, which we talked about, is over 8,000 acres, all within the city limits. They've got over 40 miles of hiking, biking, and equestrian trails throughout the park. So tons of stuff to do there. You can also camp, fish, and hunt within the park as well. You also have the Northport Aquatic Center, which is a great place to cool off, especially in the summer months. But they've got swim lessons, all kinds of water fitness classes. They do have a lazy river and a water slide as well. So great place to go hang out, cool off for the whole family. The 𝑚IACA Creek Environmental Park, good luck saying that one, is an amazing, it's a great conservation area, over 160 acres of land and water. You can also camp there. Horseback riding and bird watching are also great things to do there. If you are a golfer, there are multiple golf courses throughout Northport, so good options for that as well. Private courses, semi-private, a lot of places, especially in the off-season months, so like after April, before October. A lot of times even the private clubs will let you come in and pay to play because they're slow enough that it doesn't really have any issue on anything. So if you're a golfer, plenty of golf opportunities. And then you've got Atwater Community Park, which is a 25-acre park. They got sports facilities, rentable pavilions, and walking paths all throughout the park there as well. Thanks for sticking it out with me. We are done with the informational session of Northport in terms of cool things to do and details about the city. Now we're going to jump into the pros and cons, so please stick around, watch the entire video, and let us know, of course, if you agree with my pros and cons. If you disagree, that's cool too. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are, if you think I missed anything, or if you think that I need to make some adjustments. So let's dive into the pros and cons. The pros, first of all, Northport schools are actually highly rated and considered some of the best schools in the state. And it's all a part of Sarasota County, so it is a part of the Sarasota County School District, although Northport is on the very south end, and Sarasota County is a very large county. So Northport schools, very good. It is one of the most affordable areas to live in all of Southwest Florida. So housing, that being said, housing is affordable. Also, the taxes are relatively low compared to other parts of the state, but we'll get into taxes as, especially property taxes, as a potential con as well moving forward. So proximity to beaches, although could also be a con as well. There are no beaches actually in the city of Northport. However, it is close to a number of different beaches. Typically anywhere in Northport, you're gonna be less than an hour to a beach of some sort. Many parts of Northport, you're 20 minutes or less to get to multiple different beaches. So even though Northport itself does not have a beach within the city, very close to beaches, and the benefit of not having them is it's not quite as close to the water, can help with insurance costs, and there are more areas in Northport than many of the surrounding areas of Southwest Florida where you can find a home that does not require flood insurance as well. So that helps contribute to lower cost of living and more affordable housing. So next thing, cost of living. It's lower in Northport than the national average and lower than most other cities in Florida. So great location, super easy to access I-75 and US 41, which connects most of Florida north and south. And you've got very close proximity to multiple airports, although there is also no airport in Northport, at least not major, but you are close to that as well. Like we said earlier, tons of outdoor activities, very big commitment from the city to building and maintaining public parks and spaces. So that's what some of that tax money goes to, is helping to build and maintain those things so that you have them, have access to them, and they are well kept. And I would say the last pro for Northport is the crime rate. It is slightly lower than the national average in terms of overall crime rate. However, the violent crime rate is significantly lower than the national average, and both are quite a bit lower than the Florida average. So Northport overall, in terms of crime rate, considered a pretty safe place compared to the rest of the country, as well as the rest of the state of Florida. For cons, we've talked about a few a little bit already. No major airport within the city, though you do have fairly close proximity to them between the Punta Gorda airport, if you like flying Allegiant, as they're the only major airline that flies in and out of Punta Gorda right now. But you've also got Sarasota, Fort Myers, and then a little bit further away, you've got Tampa as well. Or Orlando, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, though Tampa would be the closest big international airport. There is no hospital in Northport, so you're gonna be a little bit further ride in case of an emergency to either Charlotte or Venice hospitals, but they're not that far. It's not like it's gonna take forever to get there. It's just, there just isn't one within the city limits. There is a significant amount of construction happening throughout the city right now, both residential, commercial, and even road construction, because of the massive growth that we talked about, over 250% population increase in the last 25 years, that construction is happening pretty much all the time. It's something that you got to deal with in terms of traffic and potentially home building around you and all that. So just something to keep in mind there. And again, because of the rapid growth, you've got traffic can be a problem because, of course, city planning, no matter what they do, they're always 10 to 20 years behind the population growth. It just kind of is what it is when you're in a rapidly growing area. And then we did mention earlier, property taxes, they are a bit higher in Northport compared to the surrounding areas. So just to the south of Northport is Port Charlotte, which is an unincorporated part of Charlotte County. So there's no city taxes in Port Charlotte. You're just paying the county taxes, where in Northport, you're paying Sarasota County and the city of Northport. So taxes are going to be a little bit lower in Port Charlotte. Taxes are also a little bit lower in Venice, which is a city, but they charge a little bit lower tax rate. So taxes are a little bit higher compared to the surrounding areas. Same, Inglewood's a little lower as well. So one of the negatives to Northport is the property taxes. However, you are getting more in that you get those additional city services compared to Port Charlotte, and a bigger commitment and a lot more money put into those public spaces, like I was talking about earlier, third spaces with city parks and green spaces and open public areas that you can go and spend your time outside of your home and work or school, which, I mean, technically then they're not free, of course, but you don't have to pay to walk in the door. You're paying for them in the property taxes, and it's not a significantly higher property tax compared to the other cities in nearby. So that's what I've got for pros and cons of Northport. Overall, Northport is a really, really nice area. And like I said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop me a message in the comments, shoot me an email or a text, let me know. Love the dialogue, love to talk, and if you have any other questions, specific questions, be happy to help. Thanks for watching.